Could Darth Vader survive without his mask? Well, possibly, but to understand why he needs it, let's look at the pathology of his injuries. When he was defeated on Mustafar, he inhaled superheated gases mixed with volatile volcanic chemicals. This scorched his lungs, rendering most of them scar tissue and inducing acute respiratory failure. Because of this, only a small fraction of his lung tissue can still absorb oxygen, not enough to meet the oxygen demands of his body. In order to get enough oxygen in his system, the partial pressure of the oxygen of the air he breathes has to be greater, so it will go through his remaining functional lung tissues at a greater rate. For example, if 75% of his lungs were rendered non-functional, the partial pressure of oxygen would have to be 4 times greater than that of Earth's atmosphere. Darth Vader's suit increases the partial pressure of oxygen by compressing the air from the external environment and thereby increasing the partial pressure of all the molecules in it, including oxygen. Because of this, he doesn't need to carry around an oxygen tank, but still needs his suit to survive on most habitable planets. However, one place he could live quote unquote normally is on his own ships. If 75% of his lungs are rendered non functional, he could have had the air in the Executor Superstar Destroyer, his flagship, be 84 versus 21% oxygen. This would have allowed his lungs to absorb sufficient oxygen while letting the rest of the crew live comfortably, so he wouldn't need a meditation chamber to take off his helmet. Although, they would have to be more strict about how flammable materials are handled. Of course, the 75% figure is just a hypothetical example, and I couldn't find a canon source for what partial pressure of oxygen Vader needs to survive. For example, if it's in excess of 1.4 atmospheres, then the rest of the crew of the Executor would suffer from oxygen toxicity. But nonetheless, I think this is a cool plot device that should be explored more. Perhaps a spin-off show could have a planet with a partial pressure significant for Vader to survive unassisted.